This is Comic Picks by the Glick.
Hey, and I'm your host, Jason Glick.
Hello, Jason Glick. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing fine. Still recovering from Comic-Con.
Oh, gosh. How was that?
Comic-Con was a lot of fun. It's like saw a lot of good panels. Really enjoyed Woodstock, even though it was opposite two of the things that I traditionally go to every year. Rick Meyer's Superhero Kung Fu Extravaganza and Lost in Translation panel. This one, the Woodstock was thoroughly entertaining, and this is on top of the fact that I actually had to pay to get in. But Will Wheaton, Adam Savage, Paul and Storm, and all of the other people there, it's like who performed, sang, gave speeches, were absolutely fantastic. I think I will most likely be doing this again, and as is just going to the con again, because regardless of like what's being shown there, I can always find great deals on stuff. Even with its continuing de-emphasis on the actual comics.
All right. Cool. Was it really crowded?
Does the Pope shit in the woods?
I guess that's the answer, everyone.
Yeah, things were a bit better managed this year, I guess, because they put a lot of the video gaming stuff like Sony, Microsoft, Nintendo, Ubisoft, a lot of the big video game stuff was shoved off to the right side of the convention instead of just being in the middle of things. So I think that caused things to feel maybe just a little bit less crowded this year. But other than that, I mean, it's like God help you if you wanted to go to a panel and you didn't line up about half an hour beforehand. So because I mean, some of these things, like I got into a Watch Dogs panel because I just wanted to camp out there before the best and worst of manga panel, but God damn, that panel just completely was just completely filled up. And I was lucky I was like one of the last people that they let in there.
Okay.
Yeah, but as a rule, like a lot of the stuff I tend to check out, like say the spotlight on Chris Samney, moderated by Mark Waid. A lot like the image, and there was also like an Assassin's Creed 4 panel that we got into that okay, chances are if you're listening to me talk about this now, you've probably heard me talk. Probably may have already read my thoughts on this, so I'll just say like, yeah, it's like thoroughly entertaining, and yeah, it's like if you haven't already, just check out my thoughts on the site itself.
All right. Well, what do you have for us tonight?
All right, something I've been promising for, I believe, a couple podcasts now, because I finally got the final volume in this particular run, and this would be Jonathan Hickman's run on Fantastic Four. Now, Fantastic Four has a long, venerated history in comics. A lot of it stemming from the legendary Stan Lee, Jack Kirby run back in the '60s. Like that kind of heralded the the dawn of Marvel Comics and their eventual path to dominance overall. All comics these days.
Some of the earliest superheroes they've drawn, right? Created.
Exactly. This is kind of like the series that basically now it's showcased Marvel style, and basically set them on their path to dominance. It's like and since then, like lots of great creators have worked on it. Like guys like John Byrne had another legendary run in the '80s. Guys like Mark Waid have tackled it since, but generally it's like I've not really been one for the series because it's always seemed I don't know, just kind of an also ran in the sense that it's a Fantastic Four. It's Reed Richards, Mr. Fantastic, his wife Sue Storm, the Invisible Girl, Johnny Storm, the Human Torch, and Ben Grimm, the Thing. It's like they've been around forever, so it's easy to take them for granted. And for years, it's like just felt like there was nothing really compelling being done with them. And so then about a couple of years back, Marvel got Jonathan Hickman to take a crack at things. Now, this is about the time when Hickman was doing on various one-off miniseries at Image. He had Nightly News, which brought him to fame. And he was also doing other clever miniseries like Transhuman, Red Mask for Mars, and Pax Romana. This stuff is getting him attention in certain quarters, and Marvel figured, hey, we're going to snap this guy up because we figured he's got a distinctive voice, and we want to milk that for our own ends because that's what we do. They they put him on Secret Warriors, first with Bendis and then by himself, and that actually turned out pretty well. And then eventually they gave him a shot at Fantastic Four. Now this turned out to be a really good mix for a couple of reasons. One is that Hickman's got a very vested interest in hard science fiction and just like really out there big idea storytelling. Fantastic Four, like this is the kind of series that thrives on that kind of thing, on just like putting his characters into new unexpected situations, or just and thinking outside the box as far as like, you know, what kind of threats the characters are going to face this time. And yes, it's always going to come back to like the same kind of thing, but at the same time, it's like, you know, you're looking for that one creator that can put a nice, compelling new spin on them. Hickman turned out to be that. Not only did Hickman turn out to be that creator, but the series also helped him out in the sense that, his writing's always been more, up to this point, been more plot focused. Here he was working with established characters, and established characters with their own voices, with their own with decades of characterization behind them, and that really complemented his style in the sense that he didn't have his characters up to this point have been kind of flat. Here he's working with just, you know, characters who actually had real personality and depth to them. But getting back to the actual story itself, it all started back in what was officially Volume 0 of this run, the Dark Reign miniseries, where Reed Richards takes a look at, you know, how did we get to this point? Norman Osborn is running the Marvel Universe, and the Avengers are on the run, and everything he's done since Civil War has basically worked out to the led to the worst of all possible worlds. So a lot of this series is just kind of like fun alternate universe shenanigans with Sue, Ben, and Johnny being caught up in Reed's alternate universe manipulations, trying to figure out just how things turned out the way they did. And so, is it possible for them to create a better world? Meanwhile, their kid, Reed and Sue's kids, Franklin and Valeria Richards, are left to guard the Baxter Building against Norman Osborn's attempts to take over the building himself. So, but this is really just the prelude. It ends on an interesting note with Reed using the bridge Reed creates to allow him to observe these alternate worlds. He realizes hey, you know, wait, who else has created a bridge such as this in order to observe such worlds? And he finds out that over 100 of his other selves have, and it turns out that they have basically created what is called the Council of Reeds. Just all these other Reed Richards from other alternate universes who basically banded together in order to basically solve everything, to fix all the problems of the universe, every universe, and make a better life for everyone involved. That's where Hickman's run picks up in the first volume, with Reed interacting with these Reeds from alternate universes, and on one hand he realizes that these guys are doing basically doing the Lord's work here. We are making a better world for everyone. Just feeding billions, fixing stars about to go nova, chaining up Doom, and basically lobotomizing him so that he can't interfere with us the way he does every single time. Just things like that. But then after a celestial attack decimates their ranks, he finds out that the cost of such altruism, that eventually it's the price of forsaking his family. Basically, just Sue eventually he continues down this path, and Sue will leave him. Johnny and Ben just won't understand what he's doing, and his kids are just gonna grow up parentless. And then our Reed from this universe realizes, I just can't do it. This is not the kind of world that I want to leave to everyone around me. So he forsakes the Council of Reeds, and then goes back to his world to try and to have more adventures. However, what the key thing to this run is that Hickman is a meticulous planner, and this is only the beginning of things because apparently, as we learn later on, that Reed going through the bridge to meet with the council, this is a universal constant. It always happens, and doing so, it sets up a chain reaction of events, basically four cities being coming together in the Marvel universe. The former city of the High Evolutionary, which de-evolves intelligent moloids. It's the old, it's like the people of old Atlantis who come back to, it's like who come back to the world itself. The what else? Oh, the inhabitants of the negative zone ruled by Annihilus, and the four lost inhuman tribes of the world. Like this all sets up into a war between these four cities, and also one that threatens to consume the Marvel universe itself. It's a very well planned out arc, and even if there are some moments that don't quite hit the right note, it's still compelling. It's still thoroughly compelling to see that this is a series where Hickman can impose his voice and his plan and see it through to the very end. Because the climax, well, okay, I'll get to that in a second, but his run is one of those rare things that's a joy to observe in the Marvel universe. Because in the series, in a universe that is essentially ruled by the whims of editorial and sales, that Hickman was apparently able to carve out enough of both in order to allow him to do things as he pleased here, and the results are thoroughly compelling. It's even though it's things like the death of Johnny Storm, it's not a spoiler. It's spoiled on the back of the volume where he dies. Turned out to be part of a larger goal, and of course we know that he's coming back. But when he comes back, it's holy shit, man! It's God, that's not the way we're expecting. So that's what really counts in these kind of resurrections. But these things where it's where Johnny Storm's death basically leaves the door open for Peter Parker to join the Fantastic Four, and it turns out to be a really nice mix because we see from the very beginning that he's right at home in this science-driven world, and his quick wit really complements Johnny's without seeing like he's replacing things. That's when the series goes from Fantastic Four to FF, because it's short for the Future Foundation. It's the group that Reed has formed in order to solve the problems of the future, and that's led by basically the kids of the group, Franklin and Valeria Richards, as well as Bentley, the clone of one of their antagonists, the Wizard, Alex Power from Power Pack, Artie and Leech, Standby Mutants from the Marvel Universe. And a couple of the Fish Kids from Old Atlantis, and it's just seeing him have fun with. Hickman knows that he can't take all this stuff thoroughly seriously, so you have to have fun along the way, and having the kids out there, doing their thing. That allows him to just allow a bit of levity to these things. Even though I gotta admit, even in the series where we're dealing with interdimensional conflicts, cosmic battles, where the fate of reality all hangs in the balance. One thing that always gets me is the fact that Valeria Richards, who is 3 years old, speaks and acts exactly like an adult. I know that's a silly thing to be hung up on, but she's 3 years old, and throughout the series she acts like she's she's 12, or speaking like an adult. And really, it's when we meet, when adult Valeria shows up, it's kind of there's really no functional difference between her her 20-year-old self and her 3-year-old self. Really, it's kind of bizarre. But still, aside from that stuff, it also tells a nice story of Reed reconnecting with his father, Nathaniel Richards, who we find later on that he through a cosmic quirk, he is the last that all of his that all the other Reed Richards, all the other Nathaniel Richards in the universe, I mean, were forced into combat with each other in order to gain ultimate power, and that our Nathaniel Richards was the last one standing for reasons which tie back into the the importance of this is a family to the series, and it's quite good, especially in the two-part story where it happens, because in order to win, Nathaniel had to not only ask for his son for help, but also Victor Von Doom as well. And Doom is a big part of this story as well, because he eventually joins the Future Foundation as they need to find, as a couple of these Reed Richards from the Council are forced to come to our universe, or the Marvel universe, in order to recuperate and find out and rebuild their stronghold. It's like Doom winds up on the short end of the stick at one point because of this, but seeing these other Reeds do their thing, it really underscores how important the series Fantastic Four has always been a series about family, and seeing these alternate Reed Richards and their craven actions really underscores the importance of that thing, without being seen in a way that isn't isn't really well, okay, I will say it's not really subtle, but at the same time it's still effective. But at the same time, I've been talking about this series for a while. And I've already also talked about how I thought that the climax of the storyline in volumes 3 of FF and 4 of Fantastic Four really paid off. So what do we talk about? So I got the last two volumes, volume 5 of Fantastic Four, the 2 volumes left. It's you've got the climax, what's left? Falling action. And the last 2 volumes of FF and Fantastic Four under Hickman are just kind of him having fun one-off type stories, just whether it's just Reed going into the future, seeing how Ben Grimm lives out his life now that he's able to become human for 1 week a year, or them going on a trip to an alien environment in order to steal a giant mass. Or their trip to Wakanda. It's interesting, while some of the stuff was obviously going to get done, a lot of it does feel kind of like Marvel tell them, oh yeah, we need Jonathan, we're going to do Marvel now in a couple months, but we need you to kill some time in order before that happens. Hickman says, hey, I can do that. And it's a lot of the stuff is just fun one-off stories, but he also doesn't forget to that a lot of stuff does tie into his larger plot, such as the 605.1 issue, which where we find out the real origins of the Council of Reeds and how it all goes back, how it was all founded on the back of Nazism. No joke. But then you've also got stuff like his trip to Wakanda, which also feels like it's a continuity patch, in the sense that we're bringing back a lot of the stuff also feels like he's just putting the toys back in the box, setting everything up so that the next writer, Matt Fraction, has a clean slate to work with. So that includes dealing with the inhabitants of New Earth, putting T'Challa back as the Black Panther, setting up, bringing Doom back into circulation. It's dealing with the Wizard and AIM Island. And the Inhumans and Johnny's status as ruler of the Negative Zone, just things like that. But it's done with the level of panache and wit and enthusiasm that keeps it from feeling like a rote exercise and just putting everything back in the box. So over the two final issues, I like the epilogue to FF the best, because while the final issue for his run on Fantastic Four is the one that puts Doom back into circulation, I kind of figured that Doom, when when he was given the opportunity to do what he did, it's kind of like, okay, I can understand like why he would fail at this, but at the same time, it's kind of like, yeah, he's like, it's just kind of like, it feels kind of like hand waving in order to account for what he's doing right there. So it's interesting, but but it also leaves things open for Valeria to do some stuff at the end, do things again as well. So that if someone does want to come back and tell her story, well, I don't think it would be advisable, but the option is there. The last story in FF though is Franklin's epilogue to just like adult Franklin's epilogue to like tying things up with all of his family he will likely never see again because of what he's done. And because that's what the future holds, but that's still like really affecting and showing and fun, showing you like how he's trying to impart all this wisdom to his younger self. It's a great heartfelt run, and even though it's like there are some notes that hit false that don't quite pan out as well as they should, such as the villains, like Reed inviting all the villains over in order to figure out just how they're going to defeat his alternate selves. It just kind of feels like he wanted, like Hickman wanted to do that idea, but he just couldn't. But the end result is that it just kind of peters out more than anything else. And the art for the series. Well, a lot of chefs were involved. Some of them were better than others. Dale Eaglesham starts things off, and he's a good, solid superhero artist. So those issues look good. He's also alternated with Neil Edwards, who is a less solid superhero artist, but he gets the job done. Then Steve Epting took over for for a lot of the run, and eventually he rose to the challenge, but I still think that Epting was really miscast as a Fantastic Four artist, because this is a series that needs like a big, colorful, bright artist, not someone whose style is so thoroughly grounded in realism that even like some of the most spectacular stuff just looks like it's there. But Hickman also gets like other talented collaborators like Nick Dragata, who's gone on with him to do East of West, which I'm thoroughly looking forward to reading when the first volume comes out. Barry Kitson, and also like these other artists in the last two volumes, like Ron Garney, Giuseppe Camicoli, it's like Gabriel Walta, Andrea Araujo, Mike Choi, and Ryan Stegman don't do their best work here, but even like the art itself, for these series is kind of like it's very much a mixed bag. It's generally pretty good. It's generally pretty good enough to carry things over. Like even the Juan Bobillo issues in Volume 3 of FF. I don't care what people say. I still like those because they actually had personality, as opposed to we got a lot of the time with Epting, who was theoretically a better artist. So Hickman's Fantastic Four, highly recommended, and it's also going to be currently reprinted in 2 omnibus volumes from Marvel. The first one of which should be hitting like in another month or two, and the second one should theoretically be following it after that. But it is available in 6 volumes of Fantastic Four and 4 volumes of FF. And all I can say is that right now it has also been followed by Matt Fraction's take on the characters, which, based on the first volume, well, his main story with Reed and the family proper has been somewhat predictable and disappointing. His issues with Mike Allred, focusing on the Future Foundation kids and the replacement Fantastic Four, made up of Scott Lang, Ant-Man, She-Hulk, Medusa, and one of Johnny's girlfriends who is wearing a Thing suit. That's actually been a lot of fun, and I will continue to read his FF with Allred, but I will not be reading his Fantastic Four with Bagley with Mark Bagley, because that's just not really all that interesting. John, I know you're on the brink of death here, but it's like, any thoughts at all?
Oh no, just thinking about death.
Yeah.
Yes, it's possible to be in the summertime and be death warmed over it. Yes, indeed.
Okay, so like I said, like Fantastic Four, Hickman's Fantastic Four has been a thrill to read. It's something I look forward to coming back to. I'm just checking out, rereading again and again, just see like what new interesting insights it reveals, and it also like heralds his promotion to Marvel's A-list, because now he's handling Avengers and their latest event, Infinity, as well. But
Ah,
yeah, but still, it's his creator-owned work, like Manhattan Projects, which was like I didn't expect him to enjoy the first volume as much as I did, but it turned out to be one of my favorite reads of last year. And he's also got his newest series from Image, East of West, the first volume of which will be out in the next month or so as well. And I'm dying to see how that is, because that sounds fantastic.
all right. Well, we'll catch you next time on Comic Picks by the Glick.
All right, later's everyone.
All right. Bye.